Hi, I'm just going to do some earrings in a stone effect and try and sort of mess around a bit with shapes at the end. I'm using translucent. I'm using Pardo, but you can use anything. They're all doing the same job, and I'm using Cernit for these. It's just that I'm using it up, and I just want to see if the Pardo does give a slightly clearer effect. I've also got Cernit translucent in emerald, Cernit number 1 in emerald. I've got the purple in number 1, which is opaque, and I've got the lilac in opaline. Okay, so I'm going to take probably about a quarter of each one and start chopping them up. Okay, so I've just chopped them up a little bit for now. You've got two options now. You can either intermingle colours and do what I'm going to do next all at once with all colours. Excuse me. But I want to keep the colours separate, so I'm going to do these one at a time and then mix them in at the end when they're coated in the mica. Leave that out of the mix for now. Okay, so I've got the macro pearl, Pearlex, and I'm just going to use that to add, and as I add it, it should make the chopping easier because the stuff starts to get coated. So I'm going to do this, I'm just showing you with this one, and then I'm going to do it with all 5, and then when they're all done, I should literally put them all together. Okay, so as I start mixing this now with the new cuts, hopefully the mica will cover it and stop it from sticking so much, which is how you sort of get smaller and smaller. And I'm using a paint in between the colours with some liquid clay, but I still think it's good to use this because I think it'll still catch and shimmer at certain points. Okay, so it's up to you how much you want to cover it, you know, how totally covered you want it. I'm going to add a little bit more. Just give it one more chop. I mean, obviously it's going to be lots of different sizes. I just want to make sure that the biggest ones aren't too big. So that's my aim. So you think you've done them all and then a few more pop up, so it's worth double checking. I don't want to just randomly chop too much now because otherwise I'm going to make crumbs. So I'm just sort of looking for the bigger ones. And then that's about it. I'll give it one more mix, and I'm going to do that with all 5 shades, and then I should be back. Okay, so I've got all 5 colours chopped up here, all done exactly the same way, and used the Pearlex micro pearl. So I'm just going to put them all onto the table because they can all be mixed in now. So now I can just start mixing them in a little bit, and then we can add the paint. And also some liquid clay. I like to add a bit of liquid clay as well as the paint, just to sort of solidify, because obviously it's lots of chopped up pieces held together with paint otherwise. Okay, so I start mixing them. I might add a piece of silver foil as well. Actually, I'll get that out now. No, I'll get that out in a minute, don't worry, because it's more faffing around. So I'm going to use the liquid clay first. I'm going to spread it out a bit. Somebody said to me the other day in the comments that they wish they could see how much liquid clay I'm using, but it's impossible because I've only got an above camera, so I can only say if you use it and you know how slowly it drips out, just go by the time. I'm literally coating it all in the thinnest fine line, you know, the way it comes out. Okay, I'll see if that's enough. Then I'm going to add some paint. And this is just metallic white pearl. So I've just added a little bit there. And I'm going to get me some gloves. Okay, so I've got some gloves and I've got some foil here as well. So I'm just going to put on some 2 small sheets because there's a good bit of clay here. It'll mix in when it's ready where it wants. Okay, so now I'm just going to start mixing this all together and I can see if we've got enough liquid clay then. Just scratch that off. It goes into the mix. I'm hoping that's enough that I can sort of bring it together. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, I think so. Right, so what you basically want to do is bring it into a block or a roll or whatever ready so you can slice it. Sort of get a feel for when it's slotted together comfortably because you'll stop losing bits off of it, etc. Okay, so I'm now going to leave that to rest for a little while. You can either put it in the fridge or just leave it to rest so the clay can cool down and the paint can dry. So I'm going to probably give that about an hour and then I should be back, only because I've used paint. And it won't dry completely, but it will certainly sort of set, ready to use. Okay, so now we can see how this is done. So I'm going to try and cut them quite slim because I don't want to put a backing on if I can help it. So that's how it looks at the moment. But we'll see how it goes. I may have to. I'm going to keep turning it to try and as you can see, it squashes really easy. It just makes it harder putting the bits together, that's all. There's no other reason. So I'm just going to it's all quite fragile at the moment, especially when you've cut it. So just start putting it together, but always push inwards because then you're applying pressure in, so they're more likely to hold. I'm going to recut that. Still a bit tacky from the paint, so that's probably why it's sticking a little bit more than normal. But I have left it an hour. And I have used this paint before. I mean, you do end up getting a bit of a mess on the top if you're not careful, but it comes off. Just from the paint and mica where it's not dried properly, but it's totally doable. I think it's worth doing it, you know, for the result. Okay. I'm just trying to get rid of the obvious lines just by giving it all a little twist. I'll push it all in and then I'll give it a burnish. That side's clean, so that'll be alright. Just going to wet the roller and see if that allows me to roll it a bit easier. And it does sort of smear a bit, like I said, the mica, but it's only surface and it can be removed, so I'm not worried about it. Oops-a-daisy is not what I would say if I wasn't on camera, trust me. Okay, so that's getting slimmer. I'm wondering whether to roll it through the machine on a 0 and just put a bit of paper each side and hope that doesn't mess it up even further. Because I think that's easier than trying to, because I'm going to be doing earrings as well and I don't want them too thick. I think it might be easier. I just hope it doesn't mess it up. Let's see. Only one way to find out. It would probably stick like heck to the paper, but as long as it comes off, I'm not bothered. Right. I don't want to have to redo this whole tutorial because I had a silly idea. Okay. I'm going to hold that down just so I can peel this off easier. As you can see, that's probably not the best thing to do, but I'm learning, just like everyone else. Right, what I do want to do now, see which, I think this was the back. This is going to need to be, just try and tidy it up a little bit, bring it in to make it solid, and then I can give it a gentle roll and burnish. But I think I have it upside down at the moment. I'm just going to check. Right, hopefully that'll be easier now to turn it over. No, I think this is the right side. Right. Gonna have to try and repair this, and I can, the other piece that got put through over here I can use for a separate thing. Okay, there was my goof. Hope it's the only one, but you never know. So I'll try and even it out without making it any thinner. I'll give it a gentle burnish. I mean, it doesn't have to be flat anyway because it's stone effect, but I want it to be more or less even. Right. I'm just going to burnish this a little bit and then I'll just go over it with a little bit of alcohol just to clean it up a bit, and then I'm going to transfer it to a tile that I'll cook it on. So once I'm cutting things out, I haven't got to move them anymore. Sorry, it's sticky, so I'm just having to clean my roller. I'm not applying much pressure, I'm just trying to ease it out. Right. Okay, so I'm just going to get a little bit of alcohol, and if I got anything dry to put it on, all clean. See if this just tidies it up a bit, just because it's annoying me, not because it has to be done now. It'll sand off whatever. Okay, I'm just dabbing that alcohol on, and then I should just give it another burnish because I'm marking it with the pattern on the paper. I think that'll do for now. Right. I need to give this tile a wipe. Hang on a second. I think I used it to put it on earlier. That'll do. Put this back on here. Just going to bring it in and just going to give it another little burnish. So I'm not going to be using the wrap with it, I don't think. Oh, I might do with one. So with this, I'm just going to... Where's that paper gone? Oh, you can see that's not even there. Right, where were we? Okay, so I'm going to do two of these. I don't have the opposite, so they'll both be facing the same way, but I don't I even look at that when I put earrings on, so some people mind, I think some people don't. Right, so that's that one. I want to do a little experiment, but I'm not sure whether to. How much room have I got? Right. This will all make sense as it goes if it works. So I'm cutting out a teardrop there, and I'm going to cut out another teardrop there, and I'll come back to them. I need 2 circles, but I'll do those after. I'm also, do you know, I'm embarrassed. I've had alcohol for ages, but I didn't realise I didn't have 100%. I wasn't able to clean my cutters properly. I couldn't think, what am I doing wrong? And I've just got the 99.9% alcohol. Oh boy, did that make a difference. I felt so silly. Still, never mind. Right. Yeah, I'm going to use cling wrap for that one. Sorry, I didn't have any ready because I wasn't intending to do these. Now, I'm trying to work out where so I could fit everything in properly where I want it. Right. For this one here, I'm going to stretch it out best I can. And that one can go there. I'm just going to grab my acrylic block for this, just to make sure it's even. And then I want a second one of these, which I shall put, I want 2 circles, put them there. Right. I'm going to do one here. Okay. And then I've got 2 little circles here that they go with. So check that's quite flat and needs a little burnish. It's sort of where I cut it out, it's sort of squashed up a little bit. There we go. That's them done. And then I go 1, 2. I did want to do these, but shorter versions. Right, yeah, okay. I'm gonna check that's even as well. I don't want it to be. So it looks like it's thicker, but I don't think it is. I think it's just like an optical illusion. Right, here's 1. 2. Okay, so I just want to see if I can do this with these. So I don't want the whole earring. I'm going to cut it anyway. I was going to make it shorter, but I'm going to do this. I can finish those off in a minute, just to see if they're fitting okay, which they are. Okay, so that's more than enough. So anyway, the ones I want to focus on, see if I can get all this off without disturbing anything. I'm a bit worried moving these circles, they're going to miss shape. I know they are. You could put them in the fridge for a while just to get them to go a bit more solid. But this is just an idea I've had in my head, one of those going to sleep at night thoughts. I just want to see if it works. If it doesn't, I still got all the other earrings. So, oops, oh dear, just not that. I have to fix that. Right, so let me just give these a little burnish. It's gone misshapen already just with that. Mind if I need to, I can make them a little bit smaller. I will sort it. So let me just clean the blade. See how much damage I do when I lift these. Okay, not too much. Right. So now going back to these, I'm just going to turn it round because it's better for the eye. And it was this way, wasn't it? Yeah. I've got two options, and I'm going to do both. And see which one looks best after baking. I can either, what I want to do is sort of cut them and have a little bit of wire and bead in between, but I could just cut them, or I could, where I cut them in an arch, I can remove that and add a circle, and I'm not sure which looks best until I've done it. So I'm going to do both, and if you're watching and decide to do it, you can make your mind up from what I do. So let's get these rounded off a bit, and hopefully they'll be alright now for the oven. This side now, I need to remove, let me just get this out of the way before I do damage. And all this scrap I always use for things like cabochons and that, you know, they really do come in handy. You know, when you're doing a project, all of a sudden, oh, I got that, and it can go really nice. So it's always a good idea, I think. If I use that circle for that, then just make sure I've got it central, and I've got to try and get them the same. Do I want it that long? No. So I'm going to try and make sure I've got the same gap above them when I do them. So that's going to be, look. Right, so that's that done. I've just got to tidy up those edges because they've both gone a little bit squashed. Right, so I'm going to let them bake like that, and then also I'm going to have to, actually, will I do any beads? I might make a couple of little beads with that just to use for adornments when finishing. So I'm just going to remove the rest of this skeleton. I've just got to tidy these up as well, haven't I? These two. I just wanted to have a smaller version of that cutter. When these are all done, I will just burnish them again, because it can get distorted just by using the cutters. It's this soft. Okay, so for these, probably going to have to tidy them up properly afterwards, because I haven't does that go to? I'm going to cut them after baking. They're only thin, so it'll be alright. So I've just got to remove this. I'm going to give them another burnish, and then I'm going to put them in the oven on the manufacturer's recommended temperature. And I'll probably make a couple of beads as well for adornments. Okay, so I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so they're out of the oven, and when they came out, I just rolled some translucent on a number 6 and put it on the back and just gave it a light texture. I haven't done anything to it yet. I may just gently burnish the top with a silver. I'm not sure, but that's how it looks currently. You could just leave it like that, I suppose. So anyway, they're all ready to have UV resin, so I'll just show you with the one lot. Also with one of the circles here, I didn't like how they came out. One was thicker than the other, so I redid them again, just this one pair, and used the purple out of this just to do some little circles, just so you know. So I'm just going to UV resin these now. Now I saw a tip on Facebook in one of the clay groups. I don't know who said it, but it's a brilliant idea. And they suggested putting UV resin into nail polish bottles, and black ones, so the light it can't get in. It's brilliant. The brush is brilliant. It's a really good tip, and I think I bought 5 of these, a set of 5, really cheaply on Amazon. So just a tip, and I'm going to do it now. You can put a thinner coat and then recoat, whatever, but the way this brush is designed for nail polish, it really does a nice brush on them. I'll do these first, which I have textured the top of, so I won't show too much on there. Just going to coat the tops, and then I'll run the brush between in the gaps. Go. Just want to make sure I get it all. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to try giving 2 coats with this and see how that works rather than one thick one. Okay, so I'm going to do this all of them, all the bits and bobs I've made, and then when they're all done, I can finish off the one pair of earrings that I've got plans for, and the rest can just have their findings. Okay, just want to check I've covered everywhere, although because I'm giving it 2 coats, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so I'm just going to use a lighter over now just to remove any air bubbles. And then I'm going to go and put these into the UV machine. And then I should do that with everything. And then I shall see you on the other side. Okay, so while they're resining, I'm just going to quickly show you how I plan to do these earrings. So I've got a little bit of, probably about 1.5 inches. You'd probably only need 1 inch of 20 gauge silver wire, and I'm taking it down to the end of my pliers, and then I'm going to fold it back. A lot of people fold first. I'm trying to do it, but I do it like this. So I'm just creating my hook, and then I'm making it as small as I can, because obviously they're small earrings. Okay, and then I've just got 2 seed beads, and I'm repeating this 6 times for the earrings. So I've done 5 and I'm just doing this last one, okay? So that's that bit. I want to make sure the beads are pushed down to the bottom because we don't want them being different sizes. And then I'm just going to guess round about where I think it needs cutting, which is just over 2 times the size of the seed bead. I think you just get an eye for it when you do it, don't you? Right, this end now. Bend it over sideways. And then right to the end of your pliers, just twist the circle round. Okay, and then just match them up, make sure they're both the same. So I've got 6 little pieces ready and waiting for when my earrings come back. Okay. Hi. Okay, so these were my experimental earrings. I'm still not sure about them, but basically once I brought them out of the UV resin machine, I made the holes, which I did just previous, put 3 jump rings this side, 3 jump rings that side, and then those pieces we made I linked in the middle and just did that to both sides and then added the findings on the top. For the backs, they're looking like that. You can see I just sort of put silver rub and buff just along the top just to give it a nice hint. And I'll just show you these closer up as well. So hopefully you can see that clearly. Okay, so that's those. These sort of wonky teardroppy things. I made a bead for each one and then just added a couple more matching beads, and that's those. Did the same on the back with the rub and buff. So I'll just show you those close up. The little fan ones are here. These are the little fan ones, which came out really nice. I'm really pleased with them. Okay. Obviously with those, I just use jump rings to attach the circle to the fan part. And then with these are the ones where I recut out the top because I wasn't happy with it. It was where it was such a soft clay. One was thicker than the other, so I wasn't happy with that. So here's these. If I can get hold of it. Okay. So managed these ones here. I just, when they were longer, if you remember, and I said I'd do it afterwards, I literally just put them back to back, cut them, and then went around the edges. And then just for fun, I had a mold, so I decided to use it like that. So I don't know whether to make that into a key ring or I don't know. But anyway, so that's what came out of that. Okay, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. And this is my, I was aiming to do 7 tutorials for 7 days over the Christmas season. So this is my 7th one. All right then. Okay, thank you. Bye.